Welcome to the channel, everybody. Let's get after it.
Guys, I'm so scared and rattled at the same time, but I feel like such a whistleblower. Ring has had a data breach and they are not telling people because I had my Ring cameras hacked on May 28th. Go to your Ring app, open it up, go to the control center on the side, like hit the three lines at the, I think it's the top left, go to control center, go to authorize client devices. Go to that list. Do you have anyone that logged in on the morning of May 28th, early in the morning? Mine's like 8:57. My friends on the West Coast are like in the 5 o'clock hour. Every one of my friends that has a Ring camera has this login. If you have someone from May 28th or you see someone on that list, your device has been compromised. You need to delete all of those off of there. Contact Ring if you want, change your email, all of that. Because if you have this, someone has been watching you inside of your home since May 28th. That's exactly what happened to me last night. Fortunately, the person was stupid enough to text me and start harassing me through there, and then I was able to put the puzzle pieces together and say my Ring camera got hacked. But after talking to my friends, all of theirs had the same thing. So obviously Ring had a breach and they are not telling people. So open your app, Control Center, Authorized Client Devices, see what's on May 28th because Ring is being awfully silent about this.
I came across this morning and thought at first that it was probably just somebody trying to freak everyone out, just trying to make everybody think that they're being watched. But just look how many comments there were on this video of people claiming that they went and checked their Ring app and found the same evidence of infiltration. This is crazy, and I'm not seeing anything else about this online. I use Ring cameras at my house, which is probably information I shouldn't be announcing to the public, but I didn't see any suspicious activity in my app. I'm pretty sure that all the batteries were dead around the time that this was all taking place though. Sometimes I come across stuff like this that I just feel like people need to know about. If you've got a Ring security system, you might want to think about changing your password in the app.
Embody and control a humanoid robot through H2L's innovative capsule interface. Just by sitting in the capsule, the user can see and interact with the world through the eyes and body of a robot. The inside of the capsule is filled with muscle displacement sensors, speakers, and displays. By shifting your back or slightly moving the hands and feet, force and movement is communicated to the robot. At the same time, the interface delivers audio-visual information from the robot to the user. What would virtual reality feel like when you can transmit movement into a personal avatar while receiving audio-visual and physical input back? The elderly and disabled can interact with the physical world, even if they're bedbound.
Robotic human surrogates combine the durability of a machine with the grace and beauty of the human body. With most people living their lives through their surrogate selves, our world has become a safer place. Take a seat in your STEM chair, and just with the power of your mind, you can control your surrogate and send it out into the real world. You can live your life without limitations. You see what they see, feel what they feel, and become anyone you want to be from the comfort and safety of your own home.
I guess it's true what they say. They reveal the truth in science fiction movies, though a technology like this was obviously going to be worked on at some point. I'm just shocked that it's happening while I'm still around. I figured this was coming way down the pipeline. But I would say that my biggest concern with this is that they're probably going to use it as a sort of compliance tool. The government is going to want everyone to have one of those Neuralink chips so that they can have direct access to your thoughts, just simply so they can have a new method of control to wield over us. I can certainly see a future where they advertise the crap out of this, which is a technology that nearly everyone is going to want access to. And they're probably going to tell us that the only way that you can use this technology is to get one of those chips in your brain to create some sort of a symbiotic connection. Stuff like this almost makes me long for the days before we all had internet access. Hey, don't forget to click like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at berry-stepp.com.
The whole thing was a CIA operation. For the people that want to know...
Well, why though?
Yeah, so the why is that... And this is the high-level overview. You can find all the evidence and details on my Twitter and on my YouTube streams, but this was a CIA operation against China by the United States. China would have been taking the 20 Freescale semiconductor engineers. They would have been trying to force them to defect, get the technology from them, essentially, So what we've got going on here is that China, United States, probably Russia, we're all trying to figure out this technology. China's trying to steal it from us. And we conducted this elaborate counter-espionage operation, which includes a fire on the plane in the cargo bay. We can see the heat signature right there a second ago. And why they did this orb thing to the plane, they basically forced the plane to turn around. They get it away from China into the Nicobar Islands. We have coordinates. We know exactly where this is happening. And then they deploy these orbs right before the plane is actually about to crash into the water. This plane's flying very low. Those are low altitude clouds.
And you're saying they teleported the entire plane somewhere else?
The plane. They teleported that plane. That is not an annihilation we're seeing happen to the plane. We have to have conservation and physics all the time. So if something disappears from over here, it's got to reappear somewhere else over here. It's actually a closed loop teleportation protocol, meaning that there's a point A and a point B. Like, in some of the sci-fi movies, like if they have like a warp gate and you have to go through that warp gate, that's what they're actually doing.
So in your view, this version of teleportation is actually moving it in a higher dimension or moving it through space-time?
And that's what we're going to talk about here today, is how is this all actually possible? And how is it possible, like what we just saw there, that a plane can just vanish and almost look like it doesn't even displace the background? And the answer to this is gravity wave.
I tell you what, if somebody had the resources and the knowledge to pull it off, I'm seeing a huge gap in the market that could turn somebody into the next billionaire. Somebody needs to start an airline that will only allow people without a college degree to fly on it. Call it Uneducated Airlines or something. Every time an incident in this vein happens, it almost always comes out a few years later that it was just some secret military operation where they were trying to gain control over specific people or specific information. And as often as it ends up being the explanation for these types of events, if someone did create an airline that could guarantee that there would be no people of importance on board, that would be the safest airline to fly on. And of course, I'm being a bit facetious, but I know I would feel better flying on an airline like that.
I'd really just like to learn about Jeffrey Epstein. So with that, who was Jeffrey Epstein?
Well, Jeffrey Epstein just started out as a normal guy, born in Coney Island in the 1950s. First record we really have of him when he appears for us is in 1974, when he's hired to teach mathematics at the Dalton School, which is an elite private school in New York City. Now, I'm not familiar with New York City K through 12 education system, but I'm told it's a very elite place that
it is
can have their pick of mathematics teachers from all over the world if they want it. And so they hire a guy who's 20 years old, who dropped out of college after 2 years at Cooper Union with no teaching experience, to teach math at this school. Basically
at the age of 20?
At the age of 20, basically on the strength of a meeting with the headmaster of the school at the time, a guy by the name of Donald Barr.
Who was Donald Barr?
Yeah, so that name might sound familiar. Donald Barr is a very interesting character, not least because his son, Bill Barr, was the attorney general who had Jeffrey Epstein arrested and oversaw his death in the federal jail that he was in.
Can I just ask you, I already said I wouldn't interject, but I'm asking you to pause already. What are the actual odds of that? The Attorney General of the United States, who arrested Jeffrey Epstein, oversaw his death, declared his death before the investigation ended, is the son of the guy who hired Jeffrey Epstein at age 20 with no teaching experience or college degree to teach at one of the most prestigious schools in Manhattan. What are if you were like, hey, Grok, what are the odds? What do you think the odds are?
Well, whatever the odds are, let's add a few more zeros to that.
Okay.
So Donald Barr was also somebody who used to work for the OSS, which was the precursor to the CIA back during World War II. So he has that connection. Excuse me. Donald Barr also dabbled in science fiction writing in his spare time. One of the books that he wrote is called Space Relations, and he wrote it right around this time that he hired Jeffrey Epstein. I've read the book, and you can go read about it on Wikipedia. It's close enough to basically what the plot is if you want to get the idea of it. The long and short is...
But you read the book.
Oh, yeah, I have a copy. I make sure I get a copy of things like that. I've got a copy of, I went out and made sure I got a copy of the Architectural Digest and Washington Life magazines that profiled Tony Podesta's house and art collection, just in case
it disappeared.
It disappears.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, I got a copy of it. I read it. It's not a good book. It's a pulpy kind of L. Ron Hubbard style science fiction book, sort of. But the basic plot of it involves the main character who is kidnapped and sold into slavery on this alien planet. It's ruled by 7 oligarchs who just have been corrupted by their power and their wealth to the point where they're basically insane, and they spend most of their time breeding young slaves and kidnapping children from around the universe to bring them home and use them as slaves. And the main character, he gets assigned or given to the one female oligarch on the planet. And at first, he's sort of one of her slaves and victims, but then she takes a liking to him and he joins her.
The plot of that book seems a little too on the nose, doesn't it? It's starting to look like that this was not just the government covering for a pedophile whenever they discovered that he had nefarious deeds taking place and had all this blackmail footage on all these high-profile figures. It's starting to sound like the government is the one that came up with the idea, trained the ringleader of the operation, and then funded the entirety of it. If this is what it looks like, I think this would probably destroy our entire country if this information came to light. Everyone I know has already lost complete confidence in our security agencies. If this were to be revealed, I think the American people would probably demand that the CIA and the FBI be completely shuttered. Maybe that's the reason our president seems to be running defense for these people. He probably thinks he can fix it. But any organization that's as corrupt as this, I don't think it can be fixed. They need to tell us the truth and just let the cards fall where the cards fall.
This is Yuval Noah Harari. He is an author and a top advisor to Klaus Schwab at the World Economic Forum. He has some interesting views on the future of humanity. Let's take a look. Okay, here we go. He says, unfortunately, free will isn't a scientific reality. It is a myth inherited from Christian theology. In order to survive and prosper in the 21st century, we need to leave behind the naive view of humans as free individuals, a view inherited from Christian theology, and come to terms with what humans really are. Hackable animals. Now the belief in free will suddenly becomes dangerous. If governments and corporations succeed in hacking the human animal, the easiest people to manipulate will be those who believe in free will. Here's where it gets creepy and they're telling us exactly what they're going to do. Yet within a few years, biometric sensors could give hackers direct access to your inner world and they could observe what's going on inside your heart. The hackers could then correlate your heart rate with your credit card data and your blood pressure with your search history. How do you live when you realize that you are a hackable animal and that your heart might be a government agent and that your amygdala might be working for Putin? But he's got the solution, guys. Just as your computer has an antivirus program that screens for malware, maybe we need an antivirus for the brain. Your AI sidekick will learn by experience that you have a particular weakness and would block them on your behalf. He ends with saying, unfortunately, these are not the questions most humans ask. Instead of exploring what awaits us beyond the illusion of free will, people all over the world are now retreating to find shelter with an even older illusion. Many are turning to religious and nationalist fantasies. Remember, in the eyes of the World Economic Forum, you are nothing more than a hackable animal. You will eat the bugs, you will own nothing, and you will be happy.
Who keeps giving these psychopaths power? It's literally only the elites who think this way. 99% of people would recoil hearing an idea like this. And this is exactly why I will never get that Neuralink chip. Everyone thinks that Elon is creating this thing in an effort to help humanity with their biggest problems, like paralysis and certain neurological conditions. But the more I hear about what they dream about doing to all of us, the more it seems like their real plan is to just install this device into everyone's head that can block out any actual information we come into contact with and force us to buy into whatever propaganda they want to give us. It's kind of terrifying to think about what society is going to look like when the majority of people walking around on the streets have this device in their head that's going to force them to go along with the government's agenda. It won't even be safe for those of us who refuse it.
What was his name?
Emery D. Gardner.
Emery D. Gardner? Show me his page again. So what did he come in and do, Daniel? What was this guy doing?
He came and asked if we carry triple bunk beds and if we had them in full sizes and how many kids if he could fit at least 3 kids in each bed. So 4 times 3.
That's a lot of kids.
About
so
30.
4 bunk beds?
4 triple bunk beds.
All right. That fit 3 per bed?
3 per bed.
That's crazy.
36 kids, I think.
Let's see. It seemed odd, so we went and looked.
It's
so slow. Gardner Emery. Weird.
Guess that's a small one.
So this is Fort Worth Police Department. Mr. Emery. He's what? What the hell did this freak do? Level 2 sex offender. That's crazy. Show us the house. This is what on Google Maps?
Mm-hmm.
So this is the front of his house. Bars. All in the windows. Weird. Show the back though.
I can show this.
Nope, the other way.
What's the
There it is.
fucking address?
That's nuts. Hell no.
Bars on the windows and everything. All that's closed off.
And this guy wanted how many mattresses and beds?
12.
Hell no. Age of victim at time of crime 16, male. You nasty son of a.
Oh.
Even in the back, there's bars.
Yeah. Like a fortress.
Wow, I have got to give credit to those furniture store employees. How many people would have interacted with this guy and then just decided to mind their own business? And I felt a little iffy about putting this in a video at first. What if this guy was just a nice older gentleman who was taking some kids out of the system and giving them an actual home to live in? I still can't help but to try to give people the benefit of the doubt. But when they revealed that he was a registered offender, I Googled his name and look what I found. They arrested this guy 2 days ago, and apparently the TikTok these folks posted is the reason the police even got involved in the first place. They got this guy off the streets because of this video going viral. These salespeople all need raises.
This can't be real. You are not gonna believe the follow-up scans that revealed what's really under the entire Giza plateau. So back in March, these guys came out and basically told the world there probably actually are large megastructures beneath the middle pyramid of Khafre in Egypt. Massive pillars that go down up to 2 kilometers underground, a monumental discovery that initiated the Khafre project. Well, they released a follow-up presentation going over some new finds, and it just keeps getting more insane. They start off by rebunking the debunkers, addressing concerns about the legitimacy of their technology that was used to make these discoveries. Synthetic aperture radar scanning, SAR, going into an in-depth technical explanation of how this technology works, calling it a way to listen to Earth from space, which is what it is. This SAR scanning method allows us to see what's beneath Earth's surface using a satellite in orbit. A truly revolutionary technology, but the experts came out and just all over it, claiming it to be not accurate at all and that we can't trust the results. Well, the Khafre boys just said, hold my beer, and gave us proof after proof of how accurate SAR really is for over an hour straight. From small-scale testing in their garage to real-world application on many sites and locations around the world, getting verifiable results time and time again. From tunnels in Nevada to a mountain range in Italy and the Mosul Dam in Iraq. Their SAR scans consistently show exactly what we expect to be there. They even show the SAR scan of the Osiris shaft in the Giza plateau, a known causeway that runs between the Khafre pyramid and the Sphinx, which accurately mapped out all 3 levels of the shaft with incredible precision, even revealing what they're calling a high-density structure over 2.5 times deeper than the current documented depth of the Osiris shaft, as well as a new unknown tunnel that appears to be running parallel to the entire shaft. Then they performed more SAR scans of the Giza plateau, and what they found completely changes everything we know again, starting with verifying the big void above the Grand Gallery in the Great Pyramid of Khufu, a large isolated cavity recently discovered in 2017 about the size of an airplane that still has not been explored yet, which Egyptologists were also initially highly skeptical of, but now admit that it really does exist. We don't know what's inside this big void or what it was used for, and we haven't explored it yet out of fear of damaging it, but the SAR scans confirmed that it's there. Then the Khafre boys go on to reveal this. Similar mega pillars as they found under the Khafre pyramid beneath the smaller pyramid of Menkaure, going over 1 kilometer straight down, with a chamber at the very bottom at a depth of 1.2 kilometers underground. This chamber is about the size of the entire pyramid of Menkaure on the surface, over a kilometer underground, which would be just an earth-shattering discovery to say the least, with even more chambers detected along the middle of these newly discovered megastructures. And now this is where the presentation goes from wow, that's cool to no way. They present a few overhead satellite photos of the area, which shows us just how many shafts there are across the entire Giza plateau. Every mark you see on the map here is a shaft, some deeper than others, but there's a lot. They even suggest that the structures currently standing over these shafts may have been built by later dynasties to intentionally cover their entrances, because SAR scans of these shafts show that some of them also go down over 1 kilometer underground, and again at 1.2 kilometers down appear to connect to some larger chamber picked up by the scans. The same depth that other chamber beneath Menkare was, along with even more horizontal passageways that appear to be tunnels that connects everything together. Essentially, a whole underground complex over a kilometer beneath the surface of the entire Giza plateau. Exactly what ancient myths and crazy theorists have been insisting for generations. And this is just the start, with their scans showing many other pillars, chambers, tunnels, and all sorts of crazy happening under the Giza plateau. Megastructures beneath Khafre, Khufu, and Menkare, all three main pyramids of Egypt. Random shafts have massive pillars and structures running through them, and if you look closely, there even appears to be something beneath the Sphinx as well, all appearing to connect with underground horizontal tunnels, as well as a larger chamber at a depth of about 1.2 kilometers down. Wow. Which the researchers behind the Khafre project themselves stand by the claim that these structures are estimated to be around 38,000 years old. This is what they showed at the end of their presentation, which I really hope they'll be covering in more detail very soon. They even revealed they're working with professors at Stanford University to replicate their data and validate all the claims they're making. So all you, it's not peer-reviewed nerds can finally shut the up. The boys are currently looking for excavation permits to perform more close-up investigations of what the is really under the Giza plateau. But unfortunately, I think we all know how that's gonna end up.
This just keeps getting crazier and crazier. I think we all now know where all of these aliens are living. Just imagine if when the earth was about to be flooded and Noah was running around telling everybody God's fixing to flood the entire earth and everyone was laughing at him and calling him an idiot. What if the Nephilim or the fallen angels, who were very aware that God was probably not happy with the way they had completely destroyed his creation, what if they decided to try to build an underground bunker to try to save themselves? I just can't imagine how this could have been made by manpower alone. It just doesn't sound reasonable to me that people built this. That's 3/4 of a mile deep. And we know that the Bible says that some of these giants survived the flood. Maybe this place is the explanation of how they pulled that off. That's just a theory, of course. And we'll probably never get an answer as to what's actually down there because they don't want the rest of the world to know what they likely already know. What do you guys think this place was built for?
Have you guys gone in and explored that hidden chamber? And if not, when will you be doing so? Because to be honest, we could do it by the end of the weekend. It's not difficult to drill a 1/2-inch diameter hole and send in an endoscope camera. So have we been in there? And if not, when are we going, brother? I need to know. This will answer all of our questions. If you want to squash debate involving, conspiracy theorists and everything, all we got to do is go in and look. We know where it's at. We could drill a hole. This is doable.
Yeah, I agree. Why can't you just go in?
I answered your question, and I said.
So you're saying we have not gone in and explored that chamber. Is that correct?
Can you please let me to answer you?
Yes.
I already answered you, and I said, all these voids that we found, the Scan Pyramid team and the English team, right now, we are discussing and studying how we are going to get in. You cannot just go in directly like this. You have to make a study. You have to research it. You have to decide as a scientist, when can you do it? And when we can do it,
9 years.
We do that, we can...
Yeah, come on.
Brother.
I mean, we sent rockets. We sent rockets to the...
Wrong.
Hang on, Dr.
I'm sorry.
We have sent rockets to the moon since the 60s. I mean, the idea we can get to the moon in space rockets, but we can't get inside a chamber of a tomb in a pyramid. I mean, come on.
Do you want me to answer now or still any talk? I told you what we found inside the Great Pyramid. And I told you, this year, 2025, is the year that we are studying how can we enter inside these voids. And he said 9 years. Yes, it can take more than 9 years. This is the pyramid of Egypt.
That guy needs to go back and brush up on his gaslighting skills because that answer wasn't convincing anyone. We have to think about how to do it. Jimmy Corsetti just told you how to do it. Drill a 1/2-inch diameter hole in the thing and send a camera with a light on it through there. I will say though, using the whole rockets to the moon argument is kind of funny to me. We didn't send any rockets to the moon. We clearly have the technology though to look under the ground using satellites. So how is this guy going to sit there and actually believe that he can convince the audience that we don't have the technology to drill a hole through a piece of rock? What does he want us to think that may destabilize the thing and cause one of the pyramids to collapse? Give me a break. I am loving this though. It's really refreshing to see the powers that be try to explain something away when it's blatantly obvious they are full of crap. These people are terrified that we're going to discover something that knocks them off their pedestal and makes them lose all credibility as an expert expert. And that is because they've been peddling nonsense to us as fact for over 100 years.
Now, I created technology I think will change the world. It makes you dream while you're awake or just puts you to sleep. And it just uses sound. I'm about to make it free. Now, we released this to the public just a few months ago. I've taken it to health conferences and had wild success, especially from famous people trying it. That has got to be the coolest part. Now, the last health conference, my neighbor was Candace. I had no clue who she was. She tried it. She made a video on her story, said this is insane. Come to find out, it's Maya from The Walking Dead. Bro. 15-year-old Ethan, if I could tell him this stuff, he'd be freaking out. Now, SeptaSync is going to be free. I will get to that in just a minute, but first we got to talk about Mr. Cult Daddy. Now, Mr. Cult Daddy, or Taylor Perkins, is one of my affiliates and one of my close internet friends. He just made a kick-ass video on SeptaSync. I think you guys should go check it out. It won't let me repost it. I really want to. It just says internet connection failed. I don't know why. Now, in terms of free SeptaSync, right now you can listen for free for 1 more week on the High Frequency Highway app. All you have to do is download it, buy their premium, and you're good. You will get SeptaSync. Now, we are officially partnered with them. That is the only place you can listen to SeptaSync besides my website. Now, on top of that, a lot of you guys keep asking for a demo, which I'm heavily considering making one of the tapes free. But first, I want to do a little trial run. From August 1st through 3rd, the Saturday through the Monday, SeptaSync will have a full free weekend to everybody. So if you've been wanting to try it but think the $45 is a lot of money, now you can. Most people think it's too much, buy it, and then say that's actually worth every penny. Well, now you can experience it without paying money first. Now, most people listen to SeptaSync and cannot stay awake. If you just sleep through it, don't complain. That's a really good result to get. But if you can stay awake, you should start dreaming while you're awake, and it is trippy. I had a friend's fiance try it recently, and she worded it better than anyone has. She said it was like going to the park in your own head. She was like, I kept falling asleep, but then I got to a point where I was awake but asleep, and I was going somewhere in my head. She said it was just like going to the park, like she could feel like her body should be there, but it wasn't. It's very trippy. It's almost mind-bendingly trippy if you get the good results. Now, also keep in mind, about 1 in 100 people, and this is going off seeing people do it in person at health conferences, it just does not work on. So that might happen. It might not work. There's also some adverse effects, especially with women over 30. I noticed they get hot flashes, like, it reminds me of like menopause, like they overheat. I've seen them take off the headphones. I'm sweating. I don't feel good. I have no clue why that happens, but keep it in mind. But I love you guys all. Thank you for tuning in, and repost this. Let's run this up. Free SeptaSync. Let the world know.
I just came across this clip this morning, and I'm pretty sure in the last video I had made a comment where I was talking about the effectiveness of this SeptaSync. This is awesome that he's planning on releasing this for free so everyone gets a chance to experience it. Just to let y'all know what it is and how it actually works. All it's doing is pumping 2 different frequencies into your ears at the same time, and it has a guided meditation voice on it. But it's nothing nefarious as far as I can tell. I bought this several months ago, and I tried it with very little results. But then, just on a whim, I decided to try it again at the beginning of last week. I was able to stay awake this time through the whole thing, and whenever I tell you that the results were more than I expected, I was absolutely floored by this experience. I listened for about 30 minutes, and it felt like I'd had a 3-hour nap by the end of it, even though I didn't fall asleep. At one point, I was even starting to see images in front of me with my eyes closed. I know this is going to sound weird, but I was seeing what looked like a Roman military style helmet floating in front of my face. And the feeling that I had, it felt like someone had taken me by the head and the feet and was playing my body like an accordion. I do know how that sounds absolutely absurd, but trust me, this is just something you have got to experience for yourself in order to believe it. Now, I haven't really promoted this on my channel because of the cost, but now that it's going to be available for free, y'all have got to try this out and let me know what you think about it. I'm sure that it's going to work a little bit different for each individual. I'm curious to know what y'all's experience with it will be. So just a reminder, it's going to be free, apparently, from August 1st to August 3rd. Please leave a comment after you try this out and let me know what your experience was. This SeptaSync thing absolutely fascinates me. I'm actually planning on trying it out again today. But guys and gals, I'm going to go ahead and end the video right there. I hope you enjoyed these clips we watched together today. I'll be back soon with another video. I hope you come back to join me. Don't forget to leave a like and subscribe if you haven't already, and check out my merch store at barry-stepp.com. And don't forget to drop a photo of your merch over in the Discord to get your photo in a video. But guys and gals, I hope everyone has a great, safe, fantastic rest of your day, and I will see you all in the next one.